welcome to our next Craftology box tutorial. Now today we're going to make a traveler's notebook slash kind of junk journal, okay? I'm not using a stapler. I'm actually going to show you how to sew your pages. But I thought that this was a really cute way to get started on doing junk journals and of course traveler's notebooks. And then eventually I want to start working on more types of hardback books, okay? So this is using Prima's August Moon, and I think it turned out really super cute. I used a couple charms from past Craftology boxes, a little Eiffel Tower, and then this little Tweety bird on a little swing. So I thought that was really cute. And let me just open this up here so you can kind of see what's inside. So I really love how this looks. So I basically did not use all of my Prima paper. I kind of mixed in some really nice quality cardstock as well. And Tamara does sell linen cardstock. This is smooth, and I think she might have smooth as well. So that would be pretty neat to add in here. So you have some options. You can leave your strings hanging or you can cut them off. A lot of people leave them hanging. But anyway, I have this blank, and I'm going to be giving this away to a friend of mine, and so she can fill that in herself, okay? So this one I'm not keeping for myself. So let's go ahead and get started. Here are some of the things we're going to be needing for this tutorial, okay? So first of all, you're going to need your Craftology box. You're also going to need, and I got this from Joann's, this is the Dritz round cord elastic, and it looks like this. I just kind of put it on this little clip to keep it straight and organized. Okay, so just remember that. This was 5 yards. I just kind of like the thickness of this. I don't want it too thick and I don't want it too thin. I found that the Dollar Tree elastic was very, very thin, and it's not going to really hold your stuff in there. So, second thing you're going to need is called Button and Craft thread. Okay, this one is by Coates and Clark. This is one of my favorite brands to use. We use this in bookbinding a lot. So I thought I would just keep on continuing with that since we're going to be sewing our pages. In fact, this isn't the last bit of my other one, so I had to go to the store and buy some more. Another thing you're going to need is kind of like a thicker type needle. And I wish I could get the number for you of the needle, but I actually threw away the package. So all I can tell you is that it's not a huge needle, because I've seen ones with the big eyes and stuff. You don't want it that big. This is kind of in between. It's not too skinny, it's not too fat, okay? It's just right there in the middle and strong enough to go through all your pages. Let's see. Also, you're going to need an owl, or this is a nail art tool that I got from Sally's. And then, of course, you're going to need your scoreboard, your bone folders, your scissors, and also your Fiskars cutter. And I love the draft or quilting type rulers, okay? This is kind of really important to use in this type of project. And I got this one at Hobby Lobby. You can use my coupon. Okay, and then, of course, your cardstock from your Craftology box. First things first, we're going to go ahead and make our cover first, all right? Instead of, and I want to see if I can find what I did. I went to the store. Staples laminates their stuff, and I was trying to make my junk journal or traveler's notebook, and I went ahead and let them laminate it, okay? Well, once I started to bend it, when I brought it home, this is what happened. It bubbled up. So I've decided to put 2 sheets together, and that's what I did with my Prima one, and it worked out just fine. So you're going to want to figure out which one you want on your outside and which one you want on your inside, and you're going to lay them together. Okay, so I have my little 2 sheets here. All right. This is going to be 11 1/4 inches by 7 1/4. Okay, so 2 at 7 1/4 by 11 1/4. Okay, and then you're going to want to score it on the line that you did not cut. Okay, so this side is where I cut it at. Okay, so I'm going to line it up so that it's perfectly straight, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/8. And I'm going to double up on that and do it really heavy so that it goes through to the next paper. Okay, 5 1/8, 5 5/8, which is right after the 1/2 inch. And that one I'm just going to do very lightly. And then I'm going to do 6 1/8, and that one I'm going to score heavily. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and get out our mat. And in case I didn't mention, you will need an adhesive, either your score tape sheets or your art glitter glue, or you can even use Aleene's Fabri-Tac. Okay. So I'm going to move this off of here. And I'm going to start adding my glue. Okay. Let me get out a wipey. I had one. Here it is. And I'm really trying to have quite a bit of glue on here in all the areas so that there's no bubbling. Okay, I'm going to butt this up over here to the side, and I'm going to lay this on top. I did not do the whole thing yet. I am doing it a section at a time. Grab your bone folder and burnish that in really well. Wipe off any glue coming out. See, like I see it seeping out. The harder I push, the more it comes out. And that's what I want, okay? And then I'm going to continue on, section by section, adding on the glue. I would do the whole thing at one time, but we know that art glitter glue dries extremely fast. Okay, and especially where you have hinges, or I'm sorry, score lines, you're going to add even more glue. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and finish this section. Okay, and I'm going to burnish it in. Wipe off that glue. Okay. And I'm just going to continue on. Make sure you get in there. Okay. Go ahead and burnish the rest of it in. Wipe off all that excess glue. Now I'm going to set this aside to dry before I even bend it on its little edges or the score lines, okay? So one thing you can do is line it back up here and kind of rescore that 5 1/8 and the 6 1/8, okay? The 1/2 inch, you don't need to worry about that in the center. Only worrying about this right now. Now I'm going to set this aside and let this dry for a little while, okay? So for my signatures, in my other book, we had 4 signatures, and we're going to do the same for this book as well. So first of all, you want to come up with the pages that you want to use for your cover, okay? Then once you picked out your 4 sheets, you're going to cut it down to 10 1/4 by 7 inches, okay? And then you will score it at 5 1/8, okay? And this is how I like to do mine. I'm going to flip it over, okay? Sorry, what I wanted to tell you, and I forgot to mention, please score it. Line it up on the side that you did not cut. So this is my bottom piece here. I didn't cut there. That's the original cut from the from Echo Park or whoever this is. Hold on, who did create this paper? Shipple Stories? Photo Play. Oh my gosh, I'm having one of those days. Okay, then I'm going to fold it over and burnish it in. Okay. Now it should be lined up perfectly. And if it's not, fix it. I'm going to do that to all 4 pieces here, okay? I like the butterflies. Make sure I know the side that I cut on, okay? Because you'll feel it. It's kind of rough. So I'm going to turn it around again. Again, 5 1/8. Fold it over. Okay. And then now I have my second signature cover. And I'm just going to keep on going. Okay, I'm ridiculous. I don't know what my problem is. Okay, so you're going to have 4 sheets in each signature. Don't do it any thicker than that, because if you do, it's going to be too bulky and it will not fold over properly, okay? And you're going to have a lot of excess paper that you're going to need to cut off, all right? So 4 sheets in each signature, so that comes out to 16, okay? So you'll need 16 sheets. I decided to do a mixture of, again, solid cardstock and pattern paper. So I'm going to use 3 sheets of solid colored cardstock. And then, of course, I have my cover, okay? So that is my 4. So anyway, let me finish cutting all of these and then I'll be right back. Excuse me. Okay, so now we're going to make our sewing template for all our pages, okay? So this is one of the sewing templates. This is kind of like a very basic sewing technique. So let me get out a piece of paper so that I can show you. Okay. So first of all, your pages are 7 inches long, so it's going to need to be 7 inches. But first, let's do this. You need to score it at 1 inch. Okay, and then we're going to cut it at the 2 inch. Okay. That will give you some room on its wings to clip it down when we're sewing the pages together, which will help. Okay. Let me score it at 7 inches and cut. Okay. Now, for any other, you may want to save this template, and that's why I'm using the linen cardstock, because this is going to make it pretty durable, or you can make a new one every time. That is completely up to you. This is where your ruler comes in handy, and we're going to line it up here. Okay. And first of all, this first black line, or actually 2 lines down, okay, I don't know if you can see that, but 2 lines down is a 1/4 inch. And here's where my 1 inch is, right here in the center. So at a 1/4 inch and 1 inch, you're going to, where your wing is here, shall I say, your score line, you're going to go ahead and make a dot. It's okay. You can draw on this all you want because it's not going to stay inside the book. This is only to help you. Again, you're going to do that same thing on the opposite side. Okay. 1/4 inch. And then now we're going to come over here, and here in this middle black line, and it's a thicker or darker black line, that is going to be a 1 inch. Okay. Now we're going to line that right up, so that should be right on your score line. Okay. And I'm just making sure it's in line. You're going to make a notation at 1.5 or a dot at 1.5. Okay. 2 inches, 3 1/4 inch, 3 3/4 inch. So 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 5 inches, and 5.5. Okay. We will be using this technique for quite some time for this particular design. Okay. The only way this would change is if the album gets longer. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and fold it on that score line. Okay. That's okay. This is just a template, so you know where to punch your holes. Okay. We're going to put that to the side real quick. I'm going to get my thing out of the way here, and I'm going to get out my cutter because we're going to need to adjust these. So first of all, when I have these packed in, okay, I'm going to line it up. See how you have all that paper hanging out over? You're going to cut that off. Okay, so we're going to line it up on our scoreboard to where it's hanging over. And I'm going to cut all that off. So you're going to have to use a new blade and cut pretty hard, okay? And it should go all the way through. Might need to get a new blade. Hold on, guys. My blade is already getting crummy. Let me go ahead. The thicker the papers you score or cut through, it's going to wear and tear on this blade, especially if you get the cheapies. Let me pull out another one. There we go. So now I can put that one aside, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I smack it down in there. Make sure everything's lined up. It looks good. Okay. Looks like I need to trim off a little of some of these pages on the bottom. I'm going to take off about a 1/16 of an inch. This one looks about right. Yep. And then one more. I'm just going to measure it. That one's a little bit long. So I'm going to recut it on that same 1/16 of an inch. And I always cut it on the same side that I cut before. Okay. There we go. One of the other things you can do is take your, I love using these, your binder clips, and this will hold it in place for you. Okay. In case you have wiggly hands. Okay, guys, I'm going to keep continuing to do this for the rest of these, and then I will be back, okay? Okay, so we're going to start sewing our signatures together. I've already got 2 sewn already. But so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to open up my signature in the middle. Okay. Just going to make sure everything is lined up. Actually, I'm going to turn it this way. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my template. And what I like to do is make sure everything's lined up again. I'm going to tuck it in a little bit. And then I'm going to start grabbing my binder clips and I'm going to clip it on there. Okay. Move my thread out of the way. Sorry, I need to grab 2 more clips because I left them on my books over there. Oops, my paper moved. So I can see that it's nice and tight in there. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way so that my pokey tool will go all the way through, and I kind of like keeping it at an angle like this. And so I'm going to start with my center hole. And you're going to want to make sure that it goes right down the center of your spine there. Okay, and you're going to keep continuing to add little holes. You don't need to poke it all the way through. You're just making a hole. Okay, right down the center of your spine. And then so on and so forth. And my last one. Make sure that went all the way through. Okay. Now I can go ahead and pull this off, but I still want to keep my binder clips on there so that my papers don't move, okay? I want everything to stay in place. So that's why these binder clips are amazing. Don't forget to take it out because I've done it so many times where I've accidentally sewn it in. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out at the bottom, and my thread is about 22 inches long. Okay, and I'm going to hold this right here with my finger, and that looks good. And I'm going to go down. I'm going to hold it taut with my fingers, go back up, and down. Sometimes the binder clips get in the way. Don't worry about that. And I'm holding it back in my hand in order to keep it taut, okay? Then I let go, and I just keep on going along here. Again, holding this back in my hand to keep it taut. And then there we go. And then down. Okay. Now you can make your knots down at the bottom. You just want to do that a couple of times. Usually I do mine about 3 times. And I like to keep it really close to the last knot I made so that the knot actually gets bigger. Yeah, that looks good, so I don't even need to do that. Well, just for giggles, we'll do it another time. And this is why you need to keep your tail kind of long so that you can do this numerous times. Well, I hear my beasties coming home. Okay, Sorry. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. Let me go ahead and trim that off. Just hold it down. And do it again 3 times. You may need to do it a couple more times if you did not pull your string taut, which I didn't before I did my knot. So now I got to do a couple extra ones. Just remember to do that. Okay, I'm going to cut off that excess string. And it looks good, so I can move on to my next one. Once I'm done with all my signatures, I'll be back. I forgot to mention that I did go ahead and use the round punch. And in fact, I need to fix that one. I guess I missed that. I used my We Are Memories Keeper round punch. And I just kind of punched all my pages to have a rounded look to them. And then I am going to go ahead and do this as well. My cover. Now, where I have my scored lines, now I can go ahead and fold on my 2 scored lines, okay? And then it should look something like this. Your middle one, you do not need to score on that. So then you're going to grab your ruler again, and you're going to grab a pencil or a pen. And we're going to do that 1/4 inch again. And I'm going to line it up in between the 5 and the 6. So the 6 is right here on this line, score line, and the 5 is right here on this score line. And then you will see like a half, okay? So 5 and a half, well actually it's 5 1/4. You'll make a line, 5 and a half. You'll make a little dot, not a line, a dot. And then at 5 3/4, you're going to make a dot. So a 1/4 inch from the bottom, just like we did on our signatures. And you're going to do the same thing here. Okay, I'm going to line it up. 5 1/4, 5 1/2, 5 3/4. Then I'm going to grab my We Are Memory Keeper hole puncher. And most of the hole punchers have 2 sides to them, okay? There's a smaller hole, and then there's a larger hole. You will not need the larger hole. I'm going to use a smaller one, and I'm going to punch holes on each. Oops, got some debris in there, so I can't really see. Let me grab this down here, and I'm going to punch on each of those holes. Okay, whoops. Oops. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see with this light. I'm trying to get them at least closest to being even as possible, okay? I'm not going to be perfect because I am, for some odd reason, this light is like blinding my eye. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to grab my bungee cord that I got from Joann's. And I'm going to start out with my bottom. Third hole to the right. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it through. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the top hole on the right and continue on, okay? I'm going to feed it through the middle hole from the back. Okay, and then I'm going to go down to the hole, second hole in the middle. I'm going to thread it through again, the very last one on the left. Okay. I'm going to pull it a little bit. Okay, you don't want it too tight, but you don't want it too loose either. Okay. I need to give it a little more room, so I'm going to pull some up here. Okay. Now this is where it gets kind of crazy. Okay, so holding this in my hand, I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to run it back through the middle, and if you need to trim it to get it nice and sharp there, do that. Okay. I'm trying to pull it through, but it's being a little bugger. Okay, got that one. Okay. Go ahead and tighten it up a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut off. So I have my bottom string hanging out here. This is the end of it. I'm not going to go too far, okay? Probably about this much. So that's about 6 inches, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and do it through the middle again. Okay? And now I'm going to tie it in a knot. I've got a little extra here. I'm okay. I'm just going to center it. Okay? And tie my knot. And I'm leaving this kind of long because if my journal gets thicker, I can go ahead and undo this one little knot and give it a little more room, okay? So I'm okay that I left it a little long. If it bothers you, well, I might trim off just a snip. Snips, okay? Now, we do need to make a hole in the middle, okay? And I forgot to mention that to you earlier. It's going to be at 3 5/8. That's okay, because this is bungee cord. You can move this out of the way. Okay, we're going to line this up. It's okay, we can just move it right out of our way. Let me line this up here. Okay, let me do it on this side. Because that's where I'm going to poke it through anyway, okay? So here is my first score line. Here's my second score line. I'm going to line that up. And I'm going to measure it at 3 5/8, which is 1 tick after, 3 1/2, 3 5/8 is right here, okay? And I'm going to grab my little awl, or whatever you want to call it. So 3 1/2, 3 5/8, and I'm going to poke a hole right in my center there. There we go. Now, I had some extra string. I thought it was long enough, but I guess not. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to measure approximately how much I need to get it all the way around. So what I like to do is pull it through a little bit. Okay, see? And then I have about this much left over to tie it. I'm going to close it and I'm going to wrap it around. And so I'm going to go about halfway. Okay? That is about as much as you're going to need. Okay? Now, if you have any charms, you're going to want to go ahead and add those on now. And we did have some in our kit. So I'm going to add those before I tie my things together. Right row. Oh, there they are. Phew. Okay. Another good thing to have is like one of these little, I call it like a fishtail hook. You could use one of these to put your charms on. These are always really helpful. Actually, I'm going to use a large one. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and attach my charms here. Okay, sorry, just grabbing my pliers. I have these pliers that are kind of like half rounded. And I'm just going to open this up and attach these. Okay, so now at this point, I can go ahead and run both of these through. So I'm going to start off with my first one, and then I'm going to come in here, and if I need to make my hole a little bigger, I can do that. Okay. So this way, with that hook thing, I don't even need to add my charm first. You know what I mean? Because it'll already be on there. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a slip knot. I may need to do that, tighten that up a little bit. Let me add in my signatures first. So you just slide each one on and in whatever order you want to put it in. So I just put each signature on each little loop that I have here. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to tighten this up a little bit. So let me go back to my center here. I'm going to pull this through. These little tweezers do come in handy, especially when you're not as tight. Okay. So let me straighten this out a little bit. Okay. See if this is a little better. Definitely. Okay. You can just add your little charm on there. And that is it. I hope y'all like the tutorial. Sorry this was a little bit of a longer one, but there's a little bit more to show on this particular one. So I hope y'all have a wonderful and fabulous day. And I can't wait to see y'all's journals. Don't forget to share them on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. And also my Facebook group, Paper Snobs on Facebook. So I'll see you all soon. Bye.